In today's show, we discuss, is AI porn better for society than traditional legacy porn?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasula, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. Hope you keep it safe and well.
I am, thank you. Are you waiting for me to say it?
I'm not going to say anything.
Hello, audience. How are you? Welcome to the show. Yay.
Okay.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
I think this is one of these that's up your street, to be honest.
Oh.
Either a terrible world is making you depressed, or your depression is making the world seem terrible. Here's my question. How can you tell which it is?
It's the latter.
How can you tell?
Because the world is not emotionless. It doesn't have emotion. It's just acting out what it does. Depression is a human condition. So we manage that ourselves. So it's not the world that's doing it. It's us, how we respond to it. The world is just the world. It's like a simple analogy I give to my clients is the world produces colours, all different colours. That's how it produces stuff. Some people are tuned in to see all the colours because they've got that sort of disposition. Some people only choose, because their filter, choose to see the darker, more evil looking colours perhaps. And that's their viewpoint, and that is their state of mind. So it's nothing to do with the environment, it's the individuals, because depression is an emotional state.
Okay, this is not a section that's going to turn into its own little sort of mini argument.
No.
So I will just say this, and then I'll stop there. If you are locked in a dungeon in a third world country, you're not going to see any pretty colors. That's it.
Well, there's been
No
people that have
arguments.
been in prison of war camps and still managed to keep the right frame of mind, so they knew that they were going to come out. And a famous case, as we know, is Nelson Mandela, who was locked away for so many years but still managed to keep his faculties in the right state of mind, where he then went on to lead South Africa. So it's not the world that... The world is what it is. It's how we respond.
That's not a bad
to that
answer,
world.
actually. Well done. Yeah, good answer.
Okay, let's move on with today's topic. Now, this one's a grown-up topic, and we have to sort of decide whether or not it'll be adult-themed or not, but we'll see how we go. And some people, perhaps, would view this as a taboo topic, but we're going to try and address it in a grown-up manner, because you have to address it. It's a real thing, can't be avoided, can't stick our head in the sand, so we're going to talk about it in an adult way. And the title is AI porn better for society than traditional porn? So, Tayo, as it's quite a heavy topic, I think it was one of yours. I'm not sure, actually. What's your view, just as a starting point?
Well, I believe it's got to be a good thing, because it is ostensibly without excuse me, sorry, without our TNT talk show treatment. I think at this stage, at this point early on, that it is victimless, which is a completely different kettle of fish from quite a lot of the legacy porn, where there were victims, especially towards the younger set, the younger end of things, which of course is illegal, but it still happens. So from my point of view, yeah, I think it's great. It's good. I mean, there are problems with it, but it's a lot better, in my opinion, than legacy porn.
Okay. I mean, there are certainly pros and cons for it. As Ty has already mentioned, it is victimless production. So that's sort of an ethical argument there, because the content is synthetic, so there's no real people involved, and so it eliminates the risks associated with humans being involved. And Ty has already touched on a couple of things, but yeah, we've got other things as well, like human trafficking. That was a terrible thing that used to happen a lot for the porn industry, because the legacy porn industry, because they knew that there was a audience for the material that they provided, and in order to keep the subject interesting for their audience, they would go to great lengths to get hold of vulnerable people from countries that maybe didn't know or were a bit lax in protecting their citizens, and they used them for the porn industry and trafficked them across. So yeah, there are a lot of things regarding the legacy porn industry that would be removed with AI porn. I mean, sexually transmitted infections, for instance, is another one, which was rife at one point when, I mean, do you remember when AIDS was a thing?
Oh, yeah. Yes. I think it really swept through. I'm not sure it swept through the heterosexual side of things. I think in the bisexuals, because it was, first of all, it spread through the homosexual community. And then the bisexuals brought it into the heterosexual community.
Yeah.
And it spread that way. So I think there was a time when, before they got sensible to it and started saying, look, it had to be tested. And, before you could actually... This is in L.A., I think, in Los Angeles. So, for some funny reason, I think I was part of a group that discussed it at the time. A very early version of a sort of Reddit type of platform, which was a Microsoft thing. It was really thriving, and then Microsoft just killed it. I've never understood. Anyway, yeah, I know, really annoying. Anyway, I think that's what I remember from about it. That they didn't know. Nobody knew about AIDS really until it was too late.
Yeah.
When you found out, you probably had it. So it was a bit too late.
And back then, there wasn't as many medications as there are today, which curbs it. I don't think it eliminates it completely, but most people can live a normal life.
Magic Johnson is still going, isn't he? So.
Yeah. Whereas before the medication, you were a goner once you got it. The other, I suppose, pro, very loose term pro, is the removal of the gatekeepers of the porn industry. So people can create their own erotica now. I don't know if that's a pro. That's what I mean. Loose. There were certainly exploitative tactics by the porn industry on certain people for sure. So will the porn industry and the AI version of it allow more models, even male or female, to create their own content, as well as then they can produce their own content, not necessarily having to perform? So they direct, because they know what the industry's like, they know how things work, and maybe tailor AI to match. I don't know. That is just something that sort of came to my attention, that the gatekeepers would be removed, like it is in other areas where in the past, when we wanted to get something out in the news, you'd have to go via a gatekeeper to get in the newspaper or radio or TV. Now, because of the advent of social media, that gatekeeper's gone and everybody can produce their own content. And this would be similar for the pornographic industry. They could produce things rather than exploitative contracts, etc. But
have you heard of, what is it called now? I think I may have asked you offline. Have you heard of this monster porn or whatever it's called?
No.
This is a new fad amongst women, and it's pretty awful.
Gosh, I'm naive in this sort of stuff. Even researching this topic today opened my eyes a bit, that I was unaware of some of this stuff. But
This
yeah,
is a fad where they've got these books, and I was asking AI about it. Actually, I was like, what's going on here?" And he said, "Oh yeah, they've got apparently female fantasy. It's very interesting, actually. A slight segue. Female sexual or romance slash sexual fantasy is to be ravished by a brute. And when I say brute, I don't actually mean a wicked, vicious, savage man, but by a
alpha male
hulking
man.
and not just a male, alpha, powerful individual. Well, male, masculine. This is their fantasy. They want to be ravished. They want somebody who doesn't take no. In real life, of course, you don't take no. I think there's a problem.
Yeah,
And
there is.
legal issues.
It's called RAPE. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
indeed.
That could quickly escalate. if it,
Yeah.
I think it was what's the name of that guy with the funny laugh, the comedian. He laughs backwards. He doesn't laugh.
Oh, Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr. The Jimmy Carr joke is, look, if there's it's okay, to seek forgiveness, rather than ask permission. Except in sex, you've got to ask first. It's okay. So anyway, that's a bit of a segue. Now the male fantasy is so weird, because I was telling you about the story I was listening to. It's a series of stories, and they're written for men. Okay, the romance, but the romance is the woman being held accountable. That's it. Accountability.
What?
That's the fantasy. When a woman is, she goes through, she talks smack, as they say, about, that's the modern term for it. She talks smack about, rubbish about men, and she does this, she does something, it affects men negatively, and she seems to be getting away with it, and then right at the end, bam, something, the chickens come home to roost. And they're lovely. I love listening. I love listening to them. So our fantasy is accountability. Women's fantasy is this masculinity, a hyper masculinity.
But they're
And
mostly against it, aren't they?
Sorry?
In the real world, they're mostly against it.
They're buying the books. They're flying off the shelves. They're called monster. I'll look it up for you in a second. They're called monster fantasy or something like that, or monster rom, or rom monster, something like that. And the pictures are gobsmacking. Face of a sort of man, human, kind of morphed into a bull with horns, and it's like a minotaur or a centaur.
Minotaur, yeah.
But maybe not the full body at the back. And you're looking, thinking, what? And I'm a boomer, by the way, so it's extra for me. It's extra. What? This is now. The point, bringing it back to our subject, what people can conceive of, if they make AIs like that, that would be truly disgusting. And it would be a down.
Bestiality?
Sorry,
Doesn't that
it's not.
border on
I won't say bordering. I say it is.
Right. Well, it's not really a real animal, though, is it?
Well, it's not a real. And even if it was an animal, it's AI. It's not a real animal anyway.
No, I know, but.
But it's pretty. Is what I'm saying is that the
regarding
general direction of trajectory is the direction. Anyway, the general direction of travel is downwards, isn't it? It's forever. Society seems to be on a forever downward spiral. We don't seem to be elevating ourselves. And I think AI porn is going to be a huge accelerant, like grease to the downward spiral, because it will just get worse and worse and worse. And goodness knows, because you can do anything and claim it's not real. So you can actually put anything on the screen.
Yeah, but the laws, however, which we'll touch on a bit later, actually don't care. And I was looking up on that, and because they cannot tell, well, I'll touch on it briefly now. Because you cannot tell whether some pornographic imagery is real or artificial, it's banned anyway. They're not gonna waste the time. Oh well, that could be AI. That couldn't be AI. If it looks wrong, it's wrong, whether it's real or not. So it seems to have accelerated the decision making to outlaw certain things, and this monster thing you've talked about, which sort of means or could be loosely classed with bestiality, would be outlawed, and you can actually go to prison for it. So whether you distribute it yourself or use it for your own personal use, if you're caught with it, that's prison. It's almost got black and white.
Oops, sorry about that.
It's literally black and white in that regard, which makes it quite well. You know where the law stands, so just don't even risk it. So these AI people have to be pretty careful not to sort of move into that realm. And the same with children. Anything that resembles, even if it was a synthetic human, if anything resembles a child or someone who's underage, then you're breaking the law, period. No recourse, no nothing, you're breaking the law. Whether it's artificial or AI generated, doesn't matter. The law's going to come hard down on you, which makes it black and white, which is probably a good thing. So people can't skirt around the grey areas in this case and try and say, well, it was just created by AI only for my own use. Nope. That looks, in this way, it is what it is. We got the laws, we've had those laws, and now they've just been revamped to include anything at all, whether it's AI or not.
Okay, you have to be careful of not believing everything you read. Romania, Hungary, and Finland are cited as EU countries where bestiality is not criminalized as a standalone offense. So that's that. Now that's what I thought Spain was amongst them. Very surprised that Spain isn't in there. I'm pretty sure that Spain, you can, with your, pets. And anyway, when it comes to AI, as I said, I'm going to find out what it's called in a second. These rom-coms are fantasy rom or something. Anyway, these are fantasy creatures, so there's no way you can argue that it's real. Okay?
Okay.
Because obviously no such creature exists. Now, it starts off like that.
And is it depicting that creature on its own, or is it depicting that creature with a human female?
Well, if it's porn, it's going to be with a human female. I mean, that's what porn is, isn't it? Why a human female? It's going to be depicting it with all sorts of things because, the imagination is the limit. And some people have got a really powerful and terrible imagination, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that could be deemed inappropriate, and
I don't see how. It's not, the creature doesn't exist, so there's really nothing to what's the beef? There's nothing there. There's no one is. What's the problem? It's not. If we can't tell, if it looks like, for example, some animal, and it looks like the animal, and you can't tell because it's so realistic, it's hyper realistic, then you can say, oh, what the hell? I can't tell. And the fact that the courts can't tell will be itself proof of the crime. If the court looks at it and goes, I don't know whether I can't tell, that proves the crime. But if it's a man's face on a creature, and we know there's no such thing like that, we can tell that's AI, and then there's no crime.
Okay, as long as the set, that's okay. As long as you're not using a person from the public domain's face on any of your
a living person,
identifiable individual.
I mean, part of the fun of AI is going to be using dead people, because can a dead person own their image? Now, I think Hollywood is trying to inherit faces and voices. I mean, James Earl Jones sold, didn't he? He sold his voice.
Yeah.
To some entity, commercial entity. So they own his voice. If you try to use his voice, is not in the public domain. It's someone purchased it. Whether that will stand in the long run, I don't know. But if you go back to the 40s and 50s stars, people that we grew up with, they died without such protection. So if you want to take one of the stars from the old days and put his or her face on someone, I think you could do that and easily get away with it.
Interesting. I mean, what are the cons? Let's go back to our...
No, I mean, a con is... A big con is what you've just said. That we can use people's faces and voices and things. I mean, Marilyn Monroe could come back in a big way.
Yeah.
But not a way that she would have approved of, obviously. And she can... Yeah, so... You know, but who's going to sue? Who is competent to sue? She died without children. There's no family there. So who's offended? And once you can't offend someone, it's a free game.
It does play... I mean, you're right in that respect, because if someone is living and they're used in AI porn, where they're depicted in ways that they wouldn't be otherwise, they're a victim without their consent, which is as bad as if they were caught with their trousers down, so to speak, in reality. Because this is something they can do nothing, they weren't directly involved, could tarnish their name, could tarnish their reputation, and until the offending material has been removed, but the damage could be done. It's already been used in some of the... we touched on this before about AI, and I mean, not just in the porn industry, but certainly certain videos have appeared to try and make politicians appear in compromised positions in order to affect their popularity. So yeah, that's already happening, and it's not a good thing, clearly, because if you can't distinguish between a real image and a heavily created AI image, then yeah, we are on a sticky wicket in that respect.
Well, that's actually not as bad as it seems, because what happens, and what has happened to me, is that you distrust everything you see. So the danger is not that I will believe something that was untrue. The danger is that I won't believe something that is true. That's the true danger. I found the thing we're looking for. There's a subgenre known as monster romance, which enters steamy romantic and sexual relationships with mythical creatures like orcs, dragons, minotaurs, nagas or nagas, and other monstrous beings. Notable examples: Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nacosta. A co-worker has a romance with a minotaur. Dragon's Mouth series by R.K. Pierce. Dragon Shifters and Fantasy Beasts. So you get the picture, and this is on. I don't know why I'm telling people where to get this stuff, but anyway.
No, don't. The thing is, though.
Well, they can find it easily.
Okay, if you had to define what that was, is it human or is it beast?
Well, those are fantasy creatures, so they're not. They're non-existent creatures, and then they don't appear in the real world. They're not in our natural
a beast?
World. Well, it's a co-worker. It's working. So it's an alien.
Okay, so it's a beast. It's non-human.
Well, you believe in aliens, don't you? So
no, I know, yeah, but I don't believe in people having intercourse with them. So,
well, how do we know? There's supposed to be a human. We're supposed to be. There's lots of human alien hybrid.
Yeah, not
things.
Through consensual sex. It's going to be done through some other means. But the hybrid would have been created via a different method.
Are you familiar with the Bible? Any chance?
familiar with the Bible.
Do you remember in
Yeah.
Genesis this very famous verse? And the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair, and took unto them wives.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's been suggested that the sons of God in that
It's
sense
aliens.
were aliens,
Hmm.
and they saw the daughters of men were fair, and took unto
Yeah.
them as wives. So that would have been consensual in a way, as consensual as it could have been in those days where women didn't have a great deal of agency in who they married. But that kind of consensual, it wouldn't have been.
Well,
Really?
have we digressed on that topic, and that's where the Nephilim came from, the giants.
That's
wasn't
yes,
it?
the giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The point being that in this discussion of ours, if we show that, it wouldn't be classed as bestiality, would it? Because this is not a beast is sort of unable. Look, here's where I think a lawyer would narrow it to. Where the law, a beast couldn't give consent. One of these beings could.
right.
So consent, because if it's intelligent and self-conscious, it can give consent.
Yeah.
An animal can't give consent because doesn't have agency like us. We think.
We think, indeed. Okay. A negative, and let's go back to our.
I want to give a negative. I've got a very peculiar negative that most people haven't thought of, and when I came across it, it shocked me, and it's entirely possible it will shock you too. I don't know. Maybe you thought about it.
Go on then.
The carbon footprint of an AI video. The carbon footprint of an AI video, where is it? Consumes as much energy. A single AI generated video, this is about 11 or 12 minutes long, can consume as much energy as half a smartphone charge. By 2026, the cumulative e-waste of water usage for cooling AI adult data centers is becoming a significant environmental policy hurdle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so much.
I'm aware of that. The water that they use to try and cool the data centers. Yeah.
So all that porn is not free. It's got a huge carbon footprint, and you think just I didn't think about that. Never crossed my mind. What? And
Well,
yeah,
that's AI in general, isn't it? It's got a heavy footprint at the moment because the quantity of. I mean, that's why the RAM is so expensive now because AI.
yeah, I know. I tried
is-
to buy
is-
some the other day. It was ridiculous.
is buying it all up to give to their AI models, and that's the problem. But that's a separate, slightly divergent section. But
No, it is a problem, though, isn't it?
it is a
negative.
problem. Absolutely, it is.
And
a
it
problem.
might actually inform. See, China's fine. China. Did I show you that graph of how much energy China produces? It's nonsensical. It's like 10 times more than what it needs, but it says it needs to be available for when it's needed.
AI, yeah.
No, not for AI.
For when
when it is needed. It's got to be there when it's needed. So they believe in overcapacity because they believe that at some point capacity will reach towards it.
Yeah,
It's not. They don't believe that you get to where that you need a capacity and then you start worrying about it. So they've already built it.
Well, that's forward thinking. That's great. That's
Well, you know.
foresight of doing some good things. So yeah, they can see AI and other services demanding more power. I mean, they've got the largest battery cars in their, on the planet. So they need to power them, and hence they need more power than they probably need in the future, with projections of how many cars will be on the road. So yeah, I can see that, but the rest of the world has been very slow on that uptake. In fact, some of the Europe have now agreed to go back to combustion engine manufacture because they just can't produce the electric vehicles in competition to China. Hence, we don't have enough production capacity and energy capacity to fuel all those electric vehicles because of AI as well, taking all the power, etc., etc. But anyway, that was a digression. I've got another one.
No, it's not a digression. It's not a digression in that will it impel governments to legislate against AI
Well,
porn. AI porn.
AI porn. Well,
Yes.
they may put a cost towards it. And
Now
will
there
be
you
a
go. You
cost.
see. So
But
maybe you have to pay
it'll pay
taxes
for
or
itself.
something.
Yeah, but it'll pay for itself because the demand is a desire. And it's a desire that's been in humans and it's never going to go away. So if that is catered for in an AI capacity with AI porn, then people will have to fund it and have to pay for it.
And
So,
would
yeah.
you agree that legacy AI has been largely targeted at men? But legacy porn has been largely targeted at men. But going forward, AI porn will be largely targeted at women because it's increasingly interactive. And the interactive elements of it will be geared towards offering romance as well as that culminates in sex.
Sexual part, yeah.
Yeah, and that suits the temperament of women, and it suits the temperament of advertisers and so on, because that first part is where the cleverness comes in, and you feed the woman exactly what she wants with the romantic fulfillment, leading to the fantasy at the end. So we can. I'm pretty sure that the future is in this case female.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. What you're doing is you're increasing the demographic who would consume pornography. Whereas in the past, there were more men than women that chose to watch it. Whereas now, with AI and tailoring the AI to more specific requirements for each gender, then there'll be more women willing to watch it because it's catering more for their requirement. So I can see that. I can see that happening. So I don't think it's the men one will be reduced. I just think they'll just stay the same. In fact, there'll be some, because what I think it is, it could be hyper stimulating. Think about it. If you're looking at traditional porn, I suspect you'll have to find, I don't know, people that you like. So there'll be a lot of people that you dislike. But with AI porn, you're creating, well, I don't know if you can do this yet, but I suppose you can. You can create your own AI
Fantasy.
model, fantasy, yeah,
Fantasy,
however you
fantasy.
want. Dark hair, blonde hair, blue eyes. Yeah, I would have thought that you could do them tall, small, slim, thin, whatever, to match your requirement.
And 2'6" midgets.
No, I mean,
For some funny reason, a 2'6" midget with a lump on her forehead. What the hell are you watching? What? Your friends? If you happen to watch the kid on your friend's laptop and you look at what they're watching, you go, yeah, you got some weird taste. But that's all. But if you come across one of these, one, you're like, I don't think we're gonna be friends. I don't think we're gonna be friends anymore, man. What the hell is this? What's the matter with you, man? What? Why has she got a stocking on her head?
oh, well, I mean, the thing is, that's what AI will allow you to do. It literally gives you a blank canvas.
This is the problem. It's the head first jump into the abyss. This is the problem with it.
Is it heading into the abyss? Because we touched on a show, probably now 4 years ago, where we discussed whether prostitution should be legalized. Isn't this?
I remember it. Yeah.
Isn't this topic and this AI porn actually almost going to replace that? Because you then, especially with the advancements with the stuff that
The
covers
robotics.
your eyes. Yeah, not just the robotics.
No, you're talking about virtual reality.
Virtual reality.
No, what about this cyber sex cafe
cyber sex.
in Berlin? Is it in Berlin?
Yeah.
What about that? I think that's the future, because you go in there, you get what you want. There's no disease. There's no possibility
It's
of
a
any
robot.
Well, okay, but right now, but in the future,
robot. I know.
sorry,
It's a robot, but
and then it's
it's a doll, but it's one of these because you can buy dolls now.
and don't forget who's sorry to interrupt. Don't forget who's asking for this. It's people who grew up with screens, and they are more comfortable with artificial elements than they are with real people. They're already more comfortable with it. But you and I, we've got a problem because our generations, we're older, and to us it's weird. But I'm not sure that to them it's going to be weird. I don't think it's going to be weird at all. I think it'll be a preference, to be honest.
Will it? I mean, we touched on it again on another show. So how many topics we cover regarding this about robotics and AI and whether you tailor your robot and your AI to be the beauty or the individual that you want them to be, and that will never match someone in the physical world. So you would perhaps look at everyone else as just a boring human and never have physical contact with any real person because you're fulfilling all your desires with an artificial AI married with a robotic interface. So
Actually, that's very interesting that you said that, and we already know the answer to that. Are you aware that China is banning or has banned, I don't know when it takes, I think it's 1st of April or something, sometime in April 2026, I think. Don't hold me to it. China has banned filters. The camera filters.
What, on Instagram and places like that? Where they got
All of
filters?
them. They're all gone. They're all gone. If you are a content creator, you're not allowed to use filters. They said because it is skewing
Reality.
perceptions of beauty, that nobody can achieve the beauty standards that we were seeing that popular content creators project. So there's been a whole slew of TikToks of Chinese content creators sort of bursting into tears and crying and saying, look, this is going to ruin me because this is what I look like. Ah! And yeah, what's going to happen to me?
So can't they use AI as a stand-in?
I don't know. This is China. I don't think you can use it. Oh, you mean create an AI?
An avatar.
An avatar.
Well, that's clearly not you. But
that's not a bad idea.
You can create an avatar.
Maybe that's where they will go in the end. But right now, the panic is set in because right now, a lot of them just say, "I don't look that good." I mean, there was one woman, and she said, "So my problem, I've got a problem here. This is what I look like." And well, she wasn't too bad, but she was like in her 50s. I mean, she wasn't bad looking for a 50-year-old, but as compared to the 20-something-year-old that she was presenting on the screen, and she said she was using 18 filters. 18.
What?
18 filters. There's a filter for the eyebrow. There's a filter for this. There's a filter. So they've got They've got levels of filters for the skin. I mean, it's totally advanced.
Wow, that's incredible. The thing is, imagine a scenario where I could see this happening with AI, and you could actually, well, maybe some actors and actresses, can I still say actresses? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What if they wanted to make money on the side? For argument's sake, they could, like James Earl Jones did with his voice, lease their body to the porn industry and say, look, you can use my body in your movies. I give you consent. Or you could sell it to the fan base. The fan base. So the fan base can have sex with my virtual avatar. Not me. I'm just making money from it. So my avatar is now being rented out, so to speak, to fans, who fans get to sleep with their hero, whoever that is. And the hero is none the wiser. He's just making money because he's renting himself out.
That's actually a very good idea. I mean it's a sleazy, horrible, but it's it's
Well,
still very,
do you know?
very clever.
Do you know what? The reason what made me think of that was I went to watch. Have you been to watch ABBA Voyage yet in
No,
London?
no, you
Because you
told me.
have.
You told me. Actually, you remember was it Voyage?
It's
ABBA.
called
You told me about
ABBA
ABBA. You said,
Voyage. Yeah, yeah. The
yeah.
ABBA Arena in London. For the
Uh
benefit
huh.
of our listeners, we have an arena in London where ABBA are performing. This is the ABBA, the 70s and early 80s pop group who had many, many hits. You probably know a lot of their songs because of the films, etc. And they have this arena where they are actually performing on
Oh, the people,
stage
the original.
their avatars of them.
Oh, the avatars.
They're avatars of them, of how what they
Ah.
used to look like. It is
Oh.
incredible. It is. I've been 4 times. That's how good it is, right? It's literally like a concert. So you're in an arena watching a band play on stage, and they are performing as they were in their heyday, in their youth, and they sing all their songs. It's fantastic. They're dancing on stage, and it's as if you are at a real concert. That they are on stage, that you could touch them, and they are just avatars. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. If you've never been, it is well worth going to watch. So I'll promote it. I'm not getting any commission from this.
No, no.
I
It's
am
here on my
literally,
screen. I saved it.
yeah, I am. I just promote it. I just promote it because I've been 4 times. I've loved every time I've been, and each time I've been is slightly different. So it's not the same songs. They
Ah,
do mix them
right.
up. So, but it's jaw dropping. That's what I can describe it. Everyone has a great time. You're singing the hits, and you're like in a concert. It really is that good. And this is what I'm saying. They have got avatars of themselves in their heyday. So in theory, what could they do? Because obviously they were ABBA, especially the front ladies, the two ladies were lovely. What if they wanted to do in the
I
future
mean, I
some
even
weird thing?
remember her name, for God's sakes.
You can't or can.
I even remember her name. And
Yeah.
a lot of people my age will say, I know which one he means. It's a bit naughty. I know which one you mean, pal. I remember both their names, but yeah, but
Yeah,
I think
both
everybody
very,
knows.
very attractive. And honestly, when you're watching, you know beforehand, oh gosh, they're avatars. It's not really them. But because it's that good,
So what
you
is it, on the
forget.
screen or something? A hologram or what is it?
It looks like a hologram because they're interacting. They've actually got a band, a real band that come on and they're interacting with them. It's really bizarre, honestly.
goodness.
It's as if it's their concert and they're here today. So that is the power of what they've done. Remember, this has been going for 4 years.
Let me do something. Because it's TNT Talk Show and we like that. Let me share the link. Well, you've got the link, obviously, because you sent me the link. And here is the link now for booking the show, which we can put on our...
Yeah. So we're not, like I said, I'll re-emphasize it. We're not getting any commission for this.
I wish.
Would be nice if it was, but
Yeah.
no, we're doing it because I'm recommending it because I've been myself, absolutely loved it.
There you are.
Phenomenal. So we'll share the link to the tickets to if you want to go. I thoroughly recommend it. And Taya, you need to go too. You will love it.
Honestly, I completely, it's not actually on my browser. I've saved it. That's why I knew where to go look for it. I saved it, but I'd completely forgotten because I got mixed up with the pharaonic one, the pyramids of Gizeh, and I went to.
Anyway, that is definitely an aside, although there's a slight loose link because it is AI. But let's get back to our topic again. I want to touch on the law in the UK in particular about AI and AI generated porn, etc. Now, deepfakes. We all know what deepfakes are. For the benefit of some users out there who don't know, they're when you create a sexually explicit image of an adult without their consent. Even if you don't intend to share them, it's now a criminal offence in the UK. So you can't even create a deep fake of an adult and keep it for yourself. You think, well, that's fine. No, you cannot create one. even if you have no intention of sharing it. That's the law. Whereas before this law change, it was only that they could only prove it if you had intent to cause distress. So if you had it and hadn't shared it, you were okay. But that loophole's been closed now. So now, even if you've got it, and you're caught with it, it's a criminal offence.
I like that, by the way. I think
that just closes it, black and white. You can't do it, which is right, because if no one's consented to it, then what are you doing? Now, obviously, the children ones is even worse. They're really, really strict, and so they should be. Any AI images that even remotely resemble children. I mean, look at that. Remotely resemble. That gives a wide spectrum of area that the authorities can use. They would be illegal. So possess, distribute, anything. You cannot, if it remotely looks like a young person, that's it. That's criminal offence and imprisonment, period. So, and again, I'm actually in agreement with that. That is just, there's no place for that sort of stuff. And because of these laws that have been modified in 2025 in the UK, the tech platforms have got a bit concerned, although some of them have already got that enabled where you can't even create it. The problem is there are some platforms that are on the dark web where you've got open source AI, where they have been made available by the producers of the AI to allow developers to use them. Now, obviously, people have exploited that because they're available, put them on the dark web and taken away all the safeguards that were in place. Hence why you can go on the dark web and probably find these things and create this sort of content. But if you're caught, that's imprisonment immediately for anybody who is caught with this sort of material. And so it should be, because it is illegal and it's wrong and it shouldn't even be produced, but it is.
So I've got a problem. I've got a problem with that.
Go on.
I think the whole idea is to have a safe outlet for people with base instincts. I understand the dangers, and the danger has to be addressed. So where I agree with you, and where I agreed earlier, is that there must be something about it that the judge, the court can look at it and go, that's not real. So it doesn't matter whether it's a child or an adult or whatever it is. There's got to be something. Now, I don't know what that something is, but I suppose the clever clogs who create these things will be able to think about it and create something that we know, okay, it's a facsimile of a human, but that's not a real human. That makes it okay. Because that allows people with that tendency to exercise their tendencies without driving it underground, which is what we've done, and which is dangerous because we've got all these missing kids all over the world. And we'd rather not have missing kids if they can get their jollies off a blooming AI thing. That's what I think. Because our kids are safe, but other people's kids are not. So let us help them to stay out of the real world. Let's keep the danger out of the real world.
So you're basically saying, or in a loose term, create a peep show type scenario with artificially generated children for these depraved people.
Yeah, that's what they want.
So it keeps them off the street, in other words.
Keeps them off the street. There's no excuse. Why do you have a real picture when you can get these pictures and it's virtually indistinguishable? Yes, there is a distinguishing mark because obviously we need to be able to tell that this is not a real person. But apart from that, for your safety, you too want to be able to prove this is not a real person because it helps you too. It safeguards you and say, well, this is not a real child. Look. And that way we leave you alone and you leave our children alone.
Well, will they leave them alone? This is the unknown problem here.
Oh, we've got to give it a shot, man. I mean, we can't just use a crystal ball fallacy and say, It's like, give it a shot. Maybe, you try something out of the box thinking, blue sky thinking.
So do we then using that same analogy, do we then move it to bestiality then and have a
Yeah,
similar
yeah,
thing for them?
yeah. Whatever. It's. It's not causing real harm until it causes real harm.
So
When it
where do you
causes,
draw the line here? Because
well,
doesn't
I
it
don't actually.
overstimulate people if they get some of it now, they want it more and more and more, and then couldn't you now be creating a group of people who may not have had that interest in the first place, now are exposed to it, think, oh, this is different, I like this, whereas before they didn't because they weren't
Yeah,
aware
but
of
it
it.
will always be within that safe environment. So, for example, this was the earlier this was the earlier fear of introducing marijuana. Is that what it's called? Hashish,
Marijuana, yeah,
weed,
yeah.
marijuana. This was the danger. People thought, look, is it going to be a gateway? It's going to lead to harsher drugs and so on and so forth. In fact, the data shows it does not. That it actually, it's the exact opposite. They want to ban it now because it leads to a very laid back sort of dude culture where, oh man, relax, man, that kind of thing. And it's very opposite. I'm saying let's try to draw the poison. Let's try to draw the poison, because if you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't think you can show me something. I'm going to be all of a sudden. I'm going to be, ooh yeah, kids. I
No,
mean,
no,
no.
no. I understand that, but they're you're starting to get on dodgy ground. I'm not sure I feel comfortable with it. Where how would you police it then? What? How would you stop it? Is it only from? Would you have to have a certain? I see. I don't know how that would work. You couldn't have like a cinema set up just for these sicko people. I mean, who then turn up and they can watch their AI porn. You would have to have it in their homes, and then
Mm-hmm.
they access it, and
Mm-hmm.
then what, you know who they are, so you keep a tab on them. I mean, how would this even work?
That's actually, I never thought of that, but that's probably a very good idea. Look, you want to watch this sort of thing, then let us know. It's all very secret. It's, sealed court records and all that. We're not going to find out. But it's a license, basically. You're licensed to watch this stuff. So we know about you, and then you've self-reported, and if we want to check what you're doing, we can sort of, especially through Windows 11, we can watch you because we can spy on you as we like, and we can make sure everything is hunky dory. I think there's so many ways we can go where we use safeguarding and safety, as our mindset, and we try it, and if it succeeds, it's such a positive impact on the real world. And I can't see where it's got any harm. I don't know how close we're getting to the top, because there's this very important question I want to ask.
We've got about seven or
Okay,
eight
so this is an important
minutes.
question I want to ask. A lot of women, maybe men too, I don't know, I've never thought about it. A lot of spouses think that catching their spouse watching porn is the same as being cheated on.
That's right.
Well, would that be the case for watching an AI thing? An AI porn?
Yeah, because if you're
Because that's
watching
not a real person. See?
just yeah, but a lot of the time they're not watching somebody by themselves, are they? They're watching someone else engaging in sex with someone else. So you're the observer watching a film effectively.
Mm.
So is that being unfaithful? I don't know. I mean, that's a grey area, is it?
Yeah, because the AI doesn't have the capacity to give consent. It's just created for you.
Yeah, but if you're watching pornography in the
Hmm.
legacy pornography,
You hope that the people on the screen gave consent, and you are participating in that consensual act. That's
but
where
you're not. How are you participating if you're
because you're
watching
watching it,
it?
because you selected it and now you're watching it instead of switching it off or just not participating in it. But if it's an AI, you've commanded it to come in. It's like looking after yourself, with your right hand or left hand or whatever hand you happen to use. So you're just looking after yourself. You
That
see,
yeah. I'm still unsure. I mean, I don't know. That's an interesting question about the pornography angle. People, I can understand. Thinking this through, I can understand if people are they catch their partner watching pornography,
mm,
and that has replaced their sex relationship. Then you
well,
could
yeah.
sort of deem it as being a factor. So it's being unfaithful. But if it hasn't,
Oh no, unfaithful, problematic. I would say problematic, in that, especially remember when we said about women having a romance.
yeah,
Well, that's forming a romantic attachment. Because I understand, like the Japanese women, they have a certain tolerance. I think it's lessening now, but historically they had a tolerance of their husbands going out to the geisha girls.
that's right.
And the idea was, well, you could go out to the geisha girl, but you must not form an emotional relationship with any one of them. But if you formed an emotional relationship, that led to divorce. Because that at that point became infidelity.
But
And
prior to that, it was just sex.
prior to that, it's just sex, and a lot of women just feel. I think I was watching videos when they were asking women on the streets, and women were saying, "Yeah, no, I mean American women, Western women were like, we understand. I mean, we don't like it, but yeah, the second there's an emotional thing, for us, that's it. That's infidelity. I mean, the Western women were sort of like going to a prostitute at all is not okay. So if you switch it around and they look at their monster romance fantasies, they probably will form a relationship. You remember how
Well, women
ChatGPT
do
was
operate
it?
different to men. Men
Yeah,
can be quite functional, whereas women do need a bit more.
we are
emotional.
functional. We
Yeah.
are functional. This is why we can. Anyway, so what was it? Oh yeah, remember how ChatGPT had to roll back GPT 4.0
Yeah,
was too friendly,
yeah,
and a lot of people started forming relationships with it.
yeah. That's right.
So they had to roll it back in GPT 5
Yeah,
to make it
Made it
less
less
friendly,
so.
and
Yeah.
and yeah. So the reports were that was mostly women forming inappropriate relationships with this entity, which they started thinking of as a very close friend. And they had to roll it back and say no. But some people still, you can still. I think they've stopped it now. You can't go back to 4.0 now. But
No.
I think some people.
I mean, what do you think about the watermarking of digital content? Do you think that that would help in any way?
I think it's an excellent idea. I would like to know where everything comes from. To be honest, there's too many fakes going around, and
Agreed.
you can't even
Agreed.
tell. I mean, the fakes now are so good that you watch it. I like watching nature films.
Yeah.
And at the end of the nature film, at the end, when I've watched it, I look at the description and it goes, this was AI generated. You think, really? I couldn't tell. I mean, thank goodness that they own up to it.
Yeah.
And so this was it. Otherwise, I wouldn't know.
The thing is, though, I think that we've missed that boat already. The watermarking for a digital watermark. I think we've missed it because there's so many platforms out there, especially even on the dark web, that they won't do this. So
Your casual use of the. I don't know anything about it. I know it exists, but the way you come on, like you know how you go into the dark web, and my answer is like, no, not really. I don't know how you. Huh?
No, I don't even know how you go on it.
All I know is that
wouldn't
it's
know.
Tor, but get Tor, and then I don't know what it's all about. So I don't think too much about the dark web because I think it's more theoretical. For me, it's more theoretical than practical. I don't know about it. And if the government steps in and says all from a date has to be watermarked, well, it's the law. The law is the law.
I want to quickly touch on, we've only got a couple of minutes left, very quickly, the grey area. If you create photorealistic pornography of purely fictional adults, and that's the key, purely fictional adults, who doesn't look like anyone else, and they're in standard sexual acts, which aren't deemed illegal because certain acts are, you're not breaking the law. If you try and sell it, though, you are. You can't sell that. You're not allowed to sell AI created imagery on things like Patreon or OnlyFans, etc. You can't do that. You also can't obviously do create these AI images, even if they're adults, obviously no children here, where they're doing things obscene. You can't do that because it's long. Extreme pornography as well. You can't put any of that on, whether it's adults or not. You just can't do it. So there's certain things already that are illegal, whether they're AI or not. AI will allow it to happen easier because obviously some of this extreme pornography, which was already banned, was being created in the legacy porn industry. But you can probably now create it now, but no one is harmed, which is the difference. That's the only positive of the AI. That doesn't involve real people getting, they're not being hurt, but they're being exploited and things like that. So yeah, it's such a grey area, and it makes me uneasy when we talk about this subject. But we're trying to do it in a grown-up manner because it is something you can't just put your head in the sand and try and ignore it. It's here. So speaking about it is the right thing to do with a sensible head and seeing the best way forward. So I mean, Tayo, we've pretty much got to the top of the hour. So what's your takeaway from this topic? Is AI porn better for society than traditional porn or legacy porn? As you
On the whole, I have to believe that it is, and it's a good thing that we're thinking about how to keep it safe for everyone. I don't want to sound virtue signaling or anything, but it's good that we're thinking about the legalities and the extremities of it. I think it's got danger. You know, what technology isn't dangerous ultimately? It's got its dangers, but hopefully it will be more positive than negative.
Yeah. I'm a bit torn, if I'm honest. AI porn, as you've said, it isn't a simple better or not. It's not binary. There's a bit of a trade-off. In some areas, the physical exploitation has been removed. So that's a positive, no, however way you look at it. But could we have created some psychological issues instead, where, you know, people are creating porn which would never be real in the real world, but this then may have an unknown psychological effect on them because they could never realize that in a real relationship. Would that isolate people even more and make them less likely to develop relationships with real people if they had the opportunity, because they can just retreat to their fantasy in AI and just indulge themselves in that rather than be a member of society, so to speak. I don't know. It just seems it may be better for the existing performers because they don't exist and can't be hurt, but it could be worse for some consumers. I don't know. Psychologically,
Well, the OnlyFans girls are going to have a problem. OnlyFans? Is it OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
Yeah, they're going to have a problem because I think they'll just be easily replaced.
Well, yeah, of course they can with AI porn that do more and better, and you tailor them how you want, which is incredible. Right. Unfortunately, we got to the end of the show. So if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tayo, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.